Testing 1, 2. I guess we're live. All right, guys. So, again, trying to adjust from the feedback, but essentially, apparently, more people prefer the craziness around here instead of the more production-oriented stuff. So we're kind of do this live. We're doing it live. So with it being live now, hopefully, that's what most people are saying they want. They want the live. We're doing the live. That's what you get. You tell me what you want. I try to do what you want. I'm like your little monkey. I'm dancing for you. So anyway, still going to be the same stuff, but just trying to determine. Apparently, more people like the live, so we're doing it live. Update from the Terry attack. The biggest thing here is initially it was 6 people that were hurt, and then it went up to 8, and then now 12 people. I still have not seen anything where somebody has died yet, so hopefully everybody's going to be okay. I know there's still one person, I believe, that was in critical condition. Just want to point out again from yesterday regarding the prayer for the people who are living in sanctuary cities. Again, just headline says it all. They passed a law shielding illegals from work. So essentially what happens is that the local municipalities and the state itself can say, hey, we are not going to work with federal authorities. That can be good, that can be bad. Like, let's say the ATF is coming to shoot your dog. You generally don't want the local sheriff telling the ATF where you live and where your dog resides so they can come shoot it. I'm being hyperbolic there, but you get the point. So in this case, they're saying, hey, we know these people are in the country illegal. We know that a lot of them may have criminal backgrounds. We are not going to share any information we may have with federal authorities so ICE can deport these people. So, take it as you will. We're going to get into more of this craziness, but just note, does that make sense to you? If you know that somebody is coming to the country and they have, horribly done things to people in a physical sense, do you want them in your country? No, you want them out. So anyway, we're going to go down this theme of what are people thinking. So touching back with Musk, again, Musk pulling the ripcord and getting the hell out of there. This gets back to my point the other day that there's essentially 2 processes from getting the items from DOGE codified, essentially getting it into law and getting that money out. Apparently, they're taking the rescission process. So there's 2 processes. One is codifying into law. They didn't do that. They had the chance in the big, beautiful bill. And of course, Johnson's coming out like, oh yeah, we're going to do it next year, which is my point the other go round, that don't hold your breath if they're not doing it now, when you have all the clout, when you have the mandate, when you have the ongoing momentum. Now's the time to codify it. Now's the time to point out all the billions, $1 trillion of waste coming from all these different agencies and say, hey, look, America, here's the waste. We're going to cut it out today. Don't you want that cut out? Yes, we do. That would have been the time to codify it, but they didn't do it. Why didn't they do it? It does make you wonder, doesn't it? Does make you wonder. So rescission is where they go and they do a simple majority vote in the Senate to basically say, is this up or down? That means that they can go from line item to line item and say, well, from the Senate's perspective, we're going to look at this real quick, and this line item we're going to say is no. Yes, that can work. Yes, that is possible. More than likely, they're not going to actually get anything done. They may get some ugly stuff done, like transing the youth in Pakistan or creating a Sesame Street in Iran. We don't need to do that, or Iraq. That craziness stuff they'll get, but a lot of the stuff that they're trying to hide, that is, lining people's pockets, they're going to just, the other stuff is lining people's pockets too, but, they only want to protect the upper crust. So, again, getting in with the same thing. NPR's like, give me my binky back. You can't take that away. Please. NPR is partisan. We all know it. If you've listened for NPR longer than 5 minutes, you know they're a partisan hack from the left side. So, liberals, trying to be nice. Liberals, you would not want the reverse, correct? You would not want, in your opinion, you would not want the federal government propping up Fox News, right? even though Fox News really isn't that conservative. Correct? Yes, I didn't think you would. So why in the world do you want USAID supporting all these liberal institutions and media, and why would you want them supporting NPR? If the reverse could be done on the conservative side, then that means we shouldn't be doing it on the liberal side. It's that simple. That's the beautiful thing about honesty, truth, and justice, is that if you break it down to its most basic shape, you know immediately what's right and wrong. Is it right? Is it okay to have government funds supporting up a specific narrative? No, it's not, whether it's right or left. The end. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Same thing, DEI support. I mean, my goodness, you got Letitia James back in the news on this. Need I say more? Need I say more? And liberals, if you're struggling with that, essentially it was literally a trumped up charge where they're trying to fabricate and attach a misdemeanor to an actual federal crime, which has never been done before. So essentially necroing a misdemeanor that had been passed out of the order. So another statute of limitations, it's gone. Well, we got to get that back. We got to be able to charge them with something. I know, we could slap it with RICO and then go after them. That's not how that works. Not to mention, didn't she just get brought up on charges for doing the same thing she accused Trump of trumping up the value of his collateral for a loan? What's that word about you accuse other people for what you're doing? Like if you're doing something bad, you accuse the other side of doing what... Anyway, point is that this partisan stuff needs to go out the door. You know it's wrong. Quit trying to defend it. Just come out and say, yeah, that's not right. Let's move on. And we're building up to something. Here it is. Democrats party they need to improve they need to improve their messaging? They depended too much on legacy media? You mean the media that was essentially pretty much completely supported by USAID? Well, yeah, if you bought the media and it didn't work out for you. Oh, but didn't Kamala get invited to Joe Rogan and she turned it down? Yeah, I wonder why. Because she cannot carry a coherent sentence for longer than 2 seconds. It's, what was it? We have to unburden ourselves from the past for the future to look at time, because time's a circular timing of the future. It's like, my goodness. You can throw monkeys and get Shakespeare in a closet, supposedly, but with Kamala, I don't know how many Kamalas it would take to create Shakespeare, but it's definitely more than 100 monkeys. So anyway, let's get on with this. I don't think that they understand what's happening. The Democrats do not think that their loss was due to the party's policies drifting further to the left, aka Marxism, socialism. Instead, they believe that they need to continue on with income inequality, social justice, climate change, abortion rights, and that their ideas were not expressed effectively. Oh no, your ideas were expressed and people don't like them. Why don't they like them? Well, let's get into a little bit. We have touched a little bit on it, but let's get into why liberals, you need to pull that ripcord like Musk did to get out of the Trump administration, and you guys need to get out of the Democratic Party. Racism and sexism over merit. So this goes back in the medical community. This goes with airline, with any sort of highly skilled type of labor where you are essentially depending on people and lives are on the line. You don't want somebody being put in that position, whether it's air traffic controllers, pilots on a jetliner, general surgeons, neurosurgeons. You don't want those type of people being selected based on race or sex, do you? Do you? So in other words, you have two different people. One of them has a higher test score. One of them has more competency. And you're going to select the other person based upon an immutable characteristic. No, it's very basic. I did not say white was the other one. Let me guess, you assumed that the first one was white, didn't you? What if I said Asian? Uh-oh, looks like somebody needs to be look in the mirror and call themselves an R word. Gotcha! The whole point is that I don't care if the first dude is Asian, white, Mexican, black. I don't care. I want the person that's competent. that's how conservatives think. We don't care about. Oh, I'm sorry. Does colorblind trigger you again? Go look in the mirror. So again, when competency matters, you don't care about skin color. You care about who's going to do the best job. That's why it's called a meritocracy. We promote and push people upwards based upon merit. You lefties don't seem to want to do that. Again, y'all guys like, as much as you like taking everybody's money and spreading around, you like to spread around everybody's debt as well. Student loans. So let me get this straight. I know a lot of guys that did not go to college, doing very well, doing fantastic. Others not doing so hot. I know a lot of guys that went to college, doing pretty well. Others not doing so hot. What's the difference between those two groups? One of them elected, chose, made that decision for themselves to go to college, to take on the debt, to do that. The other group said, no, I don't want to do that. But you want to burden the other group for that debt for your choice? It's not their fault that you chose a gender studies underwater basking water degree. No. And the best you can do is be a barista at Starbucks. That's no. Whose fault is that? Who made that choice? You did. Oh, but I didn't understand the ramifications. Take you a gap year. I mean, you liberals tend to think that Europe is so great. They take a gap year. Go take yourself a gap year. Get some common sense. But a lot of people had enough common sense to say, yeah, college wasn't for them. They don't want to be burdened by that debt, but yet you want to burden them with the debt that you chose to take on. See how that might be a bit of a conundrum? A little hypocritical? Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not hypocritical. That's what you do want because you're Marxist. Liberals, pull the ripcord, get out of the Democratic Party. Again, getting back into what is going wrong with the left, you guys demonize people who didn't want the... Are we allowed to say this word anymore? The COVID vax? Are we allowed to say vax now? Can we come out under our rocks and say, hey, the vax was bad? Oh, that's right. The CDC is saying that, hey, pregnant women and children probably shouldn't take the shot. I wonder why. Was there potentially evidence that there was some sort of issue or problem with those groups of people taking the shot? Not saying the shot couldn't have done some help for people maybe 55, 65 plus, but people in good shape, good health, especially young people who were not at risk of the virus, they probably shouldn't have taken it. Why? Myocarditis says what? We're allowed to say that, right? I'm not getting canceled yet, am I? Oh, well. So much for freedom of speech, right? Isn't that what you leftists supposedly love, or liberal identities of being able to say what you want? Oh, that's right. Y'all don't believe that anymore. Y'all don't believe in free speech. Liberals, pull the ripcord. Pull the ripcord. Get out of the Democratic Party. They're going far left. They're going Marxist. They want to shut everybody up, including you. So let's get this straight. People should be able to say what they want, point at the evidence they want. You shouldn't be able to cancel people just because you don't like what they say, especially when they come with evidence. Again, what's happening to the Democratic Party, and they're continuing to go this route. You even had Newsom coming out with, who was it? Was it Charlie Kirk? And who else did he meet with that was on the right? That was it Steve Bannon? And you couldn't, it was like a complete slap in the face to all you leftists, where he was like, yeah, we need to moderate. Yeah, we kind of did COVID wrong. Yeah, we kind of did lockdowns wrong. Yeah, we're really not doing the best with homelessness, and we're really pushing way too far. That's got to be a slap in the face when one of your heroes are supposedly coming out and saying, yeah, you might have done it wrong. And he's now trying to moderate when he obviously is not someone who is a centrist or central left. No, he's hardcore left. You saw his policies. Don't listen to what I say. Trust his lying eyes. Saw what he did to California. No, thank you. Please select somebody better. The point is that if you look at what they're standing for, the Democratic Party, they are pushing abortion up to birth. Now, I don't care what your stance is on abortion, right, left, center. If you are saying that a child who is 8 months, so let's say 8 months, 9 months, let's say 8 months, you could take that child outside of the womb and that is a babe. But then you take that babe and you put it inside the room and then it's okay to abort that child. You have a sickness. You are completely in the wrong and you need to go look in the mirror and watch yourself get slapped. because God's going to look at you and be like, that ain't right. And don't make this religious. I'm just asking you, what's the difference between the babe in the womb at the same juncture and babe outside the womb? Both babes can survive on their own, in or out of the womb. I mean, inside the womb, I get it. You're like, oh, it's a parasite. It's not a parasite. You chose to have that child, whether it was an accident or intentional. That child did not choose to get born. You chose to take an action. That child was conceived. That child is there. It's not the child's fault. And it is a child. It is a baby. And the baby inside the room is the exact same thing. It's just in two different separate locations. And you cannot justify killing the child in the womb versus it's outside of the womb and then it's okay. You can't do it. You can argue forced cesarean. Argue forced cesarean then. Fine, at least you have some sort of logical consistency. But right now you got nothing. Number one is just insanity. Like you can't even put pictures up on YouTube as far as what the left is pushing. And I'm sorry, liberals, I'm saying liberals, you need to get out. Leftists are what's going to be left of the Democratic Party, liberals, if you do not get away from them. They're anti-child. They're against having children. They're against children in general. How do I know this? Well, when you promote an ideology that has a high suicidality rate, and that is pre and post-op. And yeah, you see where I'm going with this. So before op, high, same suicidality rate, same rate of suicide. Post-op, same rate of suicide. What happened? The gender-changing surgery did absolutely nothing. It was a mental issue. You might not like it. Justify your position because you can't. If you do something and it makes zero change in the outcome of that person, that means that what you did absolutely nothing. It was not what was impacting that person. That person had something else that you did not consider as part of the actual evaluation of what's going on inside their head. Not to mention that most people, when you put them in that situation and you take them out of it and allow them to adjust and mature, guess what? 80% of the time, they go right back to where they were, a normal youth. So you push them in this ideology, and it is an ideology. It is a sickness. And you push it upon them, and you destroy those children. You make them take drugs that completely destroy their ability to reproduce. Take that away from them when they're a child. They can't even make decisions for themselves, and you want to force that down their gullet. That's insanity. Like those two things alone should just be enough for any person with any sort of moral backbone to say, yeah, I don't want to be a part of that. Justify it for me. If you still believe in those first two things, justify it. Make some sort of case. Let's talk about it. I want to hear it. I want to hear a liberal say, okay, I'm going to justify it this way. Leftists, I don't want to hear from you. You guys are psychos. But liberals, pull the ripcord, get out of the Democratic Party. It's not worth your time. You've got to be doing something better. And don't do whataboutism. I'm not going to be part of the Republican Party. I've said my piece about Trump and where he has not been doing what he should be doing. But again, he's working the system and he's doing a lot better than what Biden was doing. If you can even say Biden was even in control, which he wasn't, obviously, per a lot of the information that's come out. The point being, you cannot be part of a group of people that are supporting these type of policies. 3, pro-illegal immigration. Yeah. Boulder, Colorado says what? And there's going to be more. There's going to be more. There's going to be a lot more. And I'm not saying immigration is bad. I'm saying illegal immigration is bad when you do not know what's coming through your front door. And that is a good litmus test. Leave your front door open and unlocked. You won't do it, will you? You won't do it because you're a hypocrite. If you cannot do that and say, hey, I don't care who comes into my house, you have no right to force everybody else here in this country say that, yes, you should allow everyone else that you do or do not want, vetted or unvetted, to come into this nation regardless of your position and how you feel about things. You should just allow it. Then you need to open your front door and allow whoever they want to come into your home, because that's what you're doing. You don't like it? Justify it. You're being a hypocrite. Open your door. You won't do it because you know it's insanity. And we're seeing the ramifications of it. Pro-inflation. You like inflation. You like taxing everybody without them noticing. You like people's paychecks going down and down and down and further. without them noticing. Do you know why? I mean, they notice when they go to buy, but they don't understand what's happening. We can do cumulative inflation later on in a deep dive, but right Iowa, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, and giving it to California to give to illegals. What is that doing? There's purely spending money that California doesn't have because they are underwater, money that everybody else doesn't have that they did not sign off on. You just want to spend money and get everybody on the government payroll for some sort of virtual signaling. You just want to virtue signal and say, look, I'm helping this person. No, you are stealing from other people to pretend you're helping somebody else. That's all you're doing. They pick people over race or any other thing rather than actually pointing out that we should have merit-based systems. Anti-nuclear family. Again, we just touched on that regarding anti-child, but frankly, this goes beyond that. This goes purely pushing an agenda where you want to break up the nuclear family. Why do you think you're all for systems that are pushing for single motherhood? And I'm not just talking about the black demographic. The black demographic's bad enough, but in all racial demographics. I'm not talking about race. I'm talking about in general. Yep, that's right. You read into race immediately on that. Go look in the mirror, slap yourself in the face, call you the R word. Liberal, pull the ripcord. Ancient anti-educational choice. Do you know what helps people when they have choice? And you leftists and you liberals keep thinking that it is not okay for people to have bad education. Well, if you're against it, allow them to have choice. Allow the money to follow the child. Allow the parent to make his to say. Allow the child to make a decision to go to a school that is better for them. Why are you cannot justify it? You can't. Every single one of these positions you cannot justify. Liberal, pull the ripcord and get out because you cannot justify it. You cannot make a logical defense without being a complete hypocrite on supporting any of these positions. And finally, pro-Marxism. I mean, that's true. It's absolutely true. Between social Marxism of identity politics and DEI to literally anti-capitalist retorts where you cannot justify another position other than a system of economic destruction that has literally killed hundreds of millions of people. You can't do it. Again, name any one of these 10 and you won't be able to justify saying that that is a legitimate choice for me and my group of people to push this American country forward. You can't. Because frankly, they're all anti-American. That's what the Democrat Party has become. And yes, I can see some of you blue-haired types heads exploding right now. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about the liberals who still have a soul. You cannot justify any of those positions and come to the conclusion they're anything but anti-American, anti-family. They're not. Every single one of them are against the American dream. Stop it. Pull the ripcord and get out. We can have whataboutisms and what to do about what not. That's fine. Let's have those discussions. I'm totally open to them. I'm not saying the Republican Party is the best. Definitely not. But get out. You're not part of that group. You still have a soul. You still have some semblance of logic. You understand that what those positions are nothing but death and destruction for America. Get out. So I hate that we went through all that, but again, it goes back to that Dartmouth economist woman who thinks she knows stuff. We're going to go deep dive in every single one of those, just laying out those right now for initially setting up the space for doing a deep dive. But I don't want to leave everybody on a downer, and I don't want to bash all the liberals over the head asking what the F they're doing. I do want to leave everybody with a little bit of hope in what we should be doing. I thought about my stream yesterday, and I pointed out, or I thought about, I bought gold years ago, like literally 4 or 5 years ago, when Biden first came into office and realized what he was doing with inflation. I was like, man, I need to buy gold. Gold is, I mean, you can go 5 years and see what it is. Gold's gone very, very well. I realized that not everybody has the ability to buy what I bought back then relative to the price of gold. Bitcoin. Everybody can buy a little bit of Bitcoin. You don't have to buy a full coin. That's ridiculous. I can't buy a full coin. We're normal people. You can buy a little bit. But I still wanted to have something that you can put in your pocket. I love that quote. You can buy the gold, you can put in your pocket. Silver. Let's talk about silver. So right now, gold is $3,362 an ounce. Silver is $34 an ounce. Silver has gone up as well if you look 5 years ago. But what we want to talk about is the gold-silver ratio. What this ratio is it takes literally almost 100 pieces of silver, 100, whatever units you want to use, hence the ratio. Ratio don't matter about, it's whatever units you want to insert. So in this case, we're using units of ounces of silver. You have to buy 100 ounces of silver to equate 1 ounce of gold. That's a lot. And that's the point. Here we are. This is going all the way back to 1998. I'm sure there's older charts that'll point this out. The point that I'm getting at is that this has continuing to climb. And historically, the average price for silver, the gold-silver ratio, should be right around this 46. Should be right around here. We are well above that. So guys, for those of you guys that missed the boat on gold, and I totally understand, I just started this. If I had started this, years ago, I'd been jumping up and down buying gold now, buying gold along with me. What you do, guys, I'm not buying gold right now. Gold is really expensive, as you can see. This is where I'm now shifting my monies as far as where I'm investing. Again, no sponsor of this or whatever you got to say. Buy some silver. Get some silver, put it in your back pocket. Get some silver buried in a mason jar. Country rednecks, you know what I'm talking about. Do it now, because right now the price of silver is very much underwater. Silver is also an industrial material in the sense that it's not just like gold, where gold is stored of value. Silver is also stored of value, but it's also used in essentially electronics. It's used in computer components, electrical motors. It's pretty much used anywhere where electronics and electricity are being utilized today. And you could think of everything, like look at the monitor here, look at solar panels, look at every sort of GPU that's going to be utilized for AI. All that's going to require silver for building the components that are necessary for those industrial items. Think about that. And we're just getting started with AI. We're just getting started with solar panels. We're just getting started with EVs. Silver's going to shoot through the roof. Get it now. The gold-silver ratio is ridiculous high, showing that silver is extremely undervalued. So the higher that GS ratio gets, the more the signals dictate that silver is undervalued. Get you some silver. Make me feel better that you have a little something, that when the CBDCs come through, no, we're not talking about that. We're talking about central bank digital currency, those kind of CBDCs. When those come through, you've got something material, you've got something legit, you've got something that is not fiat, that is not trackable. And no, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do believe that we should not trust the government. So, this is Mouthy, coming with Big Badger energy, telling you to sign off, or I'm signing off. You go think about it. Sorry, this was way too long, but really trying to reach people. I know I'm sarcastic. I know I'm an a-hole. But the point is that I do have love for the country. I do want to wake more people up that are in the Democratic Party to realize, because I've got friends in there, you're supporting a group that is anti-American. Fight me. Come on. Do it. Do it. You won't do it. You won't do it because you can't justify anything. All right. See you guys later. Sorry it's so long. Toodaloo.